Perfect. All right. Hopefully it's not picking up too much wind. Hmm. Ah, there we go. All right, so I'm not sure how we sound yet.
Well,
We're definitely
you have a way
live.
to test it and monitor it?
You
hook headphones into there or something? Or are you live somewhere right now?
Oh, we're definitely live.
What do you mean we're definitely live?
Oh, we're not live as in like this thing is going, but we're live as in the pre-show music's going.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that. You told me that before though, and they could all hear us.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we're definitely a picture.
Puerto Rico. Esta bomba yo la dedico a toda mi gente de Puerto Rico, a la familia.
Dad! You call this archaeology? Get out of there, Dad!
All right, now they can hear us. Hello, everyone. Well, they couldn't hear us before. Well, they could hear us before, and then now they couldn't, and now they can again.
Yeah, so we're out here in Visalia, California, and I'm just checking audio and comments here.
Now they can hear us.
Okay, sounds
And
good.
Visalia is like the ultimate. Their worst places towns.
I mean, yeah, yeah, there's definitely worse, but it's not too bad. We were here for the Society for California Archaeology meetings, which just got over yesterday. Actually, technically today. There's field trips and stuff going on today. I never do the field trips. Have you ever done one of the field trips?
No.
No. I kind of want to someday, but you're always just like leaving on Sunday.
Oh my God.
You know?
Not to stereotype.
Exactly. So one thing I want to mention is I had no idea when we just decided to do this conference because Rachel and I, of course, travel around, as people who watch this know. And we just happened to be coming around the country up this way, and we realized we were coming this way a couple months ago, and that the Society for California Archaeology meetings were basically going to be on our route at the time we were going to be here. It's just totally fortuitous. On a side note, I just realized the Southeastern Archaeology Conference is going to be in the same situation in October, so
Neat.
probably going to have an APN booth there and maybe a Wild Note booth.
Ooh.
End of October next year.
Wait, are you gonna do the thing where we were always talking about, where you're gonna set up multiple recorders or headphones so that people can listen?
I was just telling Rachel about that. I might try it, so we'll see. But anyway, so we were at that conference, and surprisingly, like a number of people from the APN were able to show up, including a bunch of people that listen to our podcast. We got a ton of people coming to the Wild Note booth saying, hey, we're fans of the podcast because they recognized our names.
Yeah.
And it was just really cool. We're also at an RV park, so there's a lot of people driving by and noise and stuff, so
Whatever.
it's flying over. But anyway, Friday night, Richie didn't quite make it because he was still getting here, but we had a dinner where hosts of the Sierra Mark podcast, obviously myself, Rachel was there, we do TAS, the archaeology show, and then Bill White, Dr. Bill White.
He did?
Yeah, he was there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He got there Friday night, and Heather McDaniel from the Sierra Mark podcast as well, and Andrew Kinkella, also from the Sierra Mark podcast.
Oh, wait, maybe that's who I saw with the dudek truck in the parking lot.
Maybe. Well, there was a lot of dudek people there.
There were?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
And then also the Alan Gold, Dr. Alan Gold,
I saw him in the
Alan
photo.
Garfinkel Gold from the Rock Art podcast, and his friend Alex were also there. And then also we had another fan who is, I mean, I don't know if she's going to be commenting on this show. She always is one of the first people to come into our live show and comment, and she did comment already, but it's weird because I can see her because she's right here. So Amy, come on into the show. Enter stage right. Or is that stage left? That really no production. You do. That's stage left technically, isn't it? Because the audience is out there.
I guess.
So this is Amy. She's in the comments and live on the show. How you doing?
Good.
Yeah. So you just came down to the conference, and this is the first time we've met, but you've been a fan of the APN for a few years now.
Yeah, I feel like I know you and Rachel quite
It's-
a bit.
It's always strange. I've been doing this for a while, but it's always strange when you're like telling somebody something. You meet somebody at a conference and you get over the whole, oh, thanks for listening, blah, blah, blah. You've been listening for a while. But then as you've been talking for a little bit, and you see them a few more times at the conference, you start telling stories and talking, and the other person is like, oh, yeah, I know. We talk about it on a podcast. Oh, yeah, I know. Oh, yeah, I know.
I probably said that at least 20 times.
I know.
This weekend. I was like, yeah, I know. You and Rachel did this, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just that's hard to get used to when you're out at a thing. I'm not trying to sound like we're famous or anything, but amongst archaeology people, I guess maybe a little bit. But
I mean, I keep running into people who know it.
Exactly. So, but this is really cool and proof that you ever see us out in the wild, or you see us at a conference or something like that. Absolutely, it's been difficult to do it remotely. If anybody is listening to this in real time, it looks like a couple people are.
Are they?
It says 3. One might be me, and one's probably Amy.
One's probably
So whoever that
that
sneaky third person
is.
Yeah.
They're hiding.
It could be Shay. I don't know if you pronounce it Shay, but experiencing degraded service in this area. So we were having some, like a call or something like that. So there probably will be some dropouts. But,
well, I mean, I'm showing green on my end.
Oh, for the frame rate?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice.
Country. And we actually haven't had like a sibling trips like basically since before she got married.
Yeah.
And like she's got kids in college now. So
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Nice.
So, my intention was to get up Friday and just head straight here, but then, was just like one of those things where like we just sat down for breakfast and just started talking, and then suddenly you're like, well, should I leave or should we just hang out? So I'm like, we hung out. Also, my God, I bought something, but it got thrown away. But it's a long story, but I've never had one of those nice corkscrews, and it's amazing how much of a difference it makes. I actually want to get another one now.
What do you use it for? You're not even a wine drinker.
I know, but other people, always ask me, and I'm like, well, whatever.
Yeah. Nice.
Mm.
Well, Amy, what'd you think about the conference? Because you went to quite a few things.
Oh, did you?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
I got here on Wednesday, and I went to 2 workshops on Thursday.
Yeah.
Which ones?
I went to both osteology workshops, so
Oh.
the one in the morning and the one in the afternoon, and they were full of information. Sure component,
Yeah.
right? Just like I suppose any workshop would have. And I feel like with the first one, it was comparative, so with lots of faunal and human.
Yeah.
So you can see the difference, right?
So they had actual specimens there.
Correct. Some
Yeah.
were cast, some
Sure.
were real, right? And then also age difference. So we had
Nice.
from newborn, so infant
Mm-hmm.
size, up to older adult.
Yeah.
And we sat through lecture for a little bit, did an activity, hands-on activity where we got to walk around and look at stuff, and
That's
then
cool.
did another little lecture and went back to it. So she said she probably covered everything that she would normally cover in a semester. She had to pare that down to a 4-hour session.
Nice.
So it was a
cool.
lot of information all at one time,
Mhm.
but it was definitely the last time I took any type of lab class that had bones in it was, I don't know, probably 2009 or 10.
Jeez.
So it was a good refresher,
Yeah.
definitely, because it's been a while. So
Yeah,
I
me
learned
too.
I learned a lot. There was a lot I forgot, but then there was a lot of weird things that I remembered. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Some stuff just sticks with you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Especially for like an osteology class. There's always little things. I'm pretty sure my last, we read an article on evidence of like first ear surgery or something like that, and it looked like this woman had like an infection or something like that, and they drilled behind her ear
Ooh.
to like relieve pressure, and then they did it again somewhere else, and they could tell because of the way bones heal that one was after the other, and that she did live through both procedures. Didn't look like she lived like more than a few months, but she did live through both procedures. So,
Gross.
but that was really interesting. But Rachel and I were trying to remember, like, what the hell's that bone called back here? Like, what's the behind the ear? It's not temporal because that's up here, but it kind of like wraps around a little bit. So it was like, I couldn't even remember. I have no idea. But
I
little
probably
things do
probably
stick.
have it in my workshop information.
I know, right? Yeah, we probably have it. So, but anyway, you start thinking about all those little things like how bones grow and stuff like that, and stuff that just sticks with you. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So that was the first workshop, right?
Yeah, that was the first
So
workshop.
then what was the second one all about?
The second one was an advanced osteology, and there was a little bit of lecture that went along with that one, but it was a lot more hands-on, almost half the time.
Yeah.
We were, kind of had stuff sitting out, and based on the lecture and what we knew, we had to go around and say how old they were, and not how old, like how long ago they were from, but how old the person was, or when they died.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
get that date range
Yeah.
or age range rather.
Yeah.
So that was fun, and then we had a little quiz at the end, and
Nice.
it's kind of interesting in the first section. I was like, "There's a quiz! Oh my god!" Because I'm a terrible test taker, and I took it. And I did a lot better than I thought. Like it was,
Yeah.
I got all the weird ones right. Like I remembered
Yeah.
those because those were ones I remembered from undergraduate. But I don't know. It was fun. They were both great classes. I definitely recommend them if you haven't taken an osteology class and you work in the field a lot. Take one of these.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just it's like $40.
Yeah.
It's not.
That's pretty good ROI, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
you're gonna
yeah.
learn a lot, you'll refresh yourself a lot, and that's not a heavy cost for that kind of knowledge.
Right.
I will
So-
admit though, I feel like maybe paleontology might be a little more handy.
Well, it depends on where you work, right?
Yeah.
I mean, do we come across a lot of paleontology? I don't even know.
Paleontological?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I knew there were some extra syllables in there. In California, I mean, we do in California, but I mean,
Yeah.
but then you just call in the paleontologist, right?
Right. Sure. Exactly. Yeah. So let's
Because I was bidding up until literally I put in my last bid 10 seconds before the auction was over.
Yeah.
And it was a lofty bid. It was more than I anticipated spending.
Yeah.
Ooh, did you win?
But no, I did
Oh.
not. Someone outbid me with, I think the last bid was 600 and something.
Wow.
But I mean, if you like music and music festivals, it was a great deal on some Aftershock tickets.
Yeah.
So 4-day music festival VIP. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
But I didn't get it. So
Yeah.
that's all right.
Well, our first day, the cool thing about being in a booth, especially one obviously related to archaeology and just talk, and it was just the Wild Note booth, we get to talk to people, not just, we don't talk to people. I try not to talk at somebody, just give them the Wild Note pitch.
Yeah.
I try to find out first, what do you do? What kind of stuff do you do? Where do you work? So we get to hear a lot about different projects people are on and,
Yeah.
you know, just the kind of work that they do, where they work, and it's really interesting just being in that atmosphere, I guess, and hearing all the different things. Kind of like podcasting all the time, you know, just hearing all the different things people do.
Wait, is the reception, was it different this year than it was when you first started doing those booths?
The reception to Wild Note?
Yeah.
Actually, it was, because there's a lot more people who are,
Oopsie.
you're not just telling them about something and they're going, yeah, my paper's working out pretty well for me, you know, I'm not going to do it. And then there's one interesting thing I heard from a potential client that
Yeah.
we actually pitched to them a couple of years ago. We did a whole remote pitch for them, and because they reached out to us and were somewhat interested, and they ended up not getting Wild Note. And one of the reasons was they spoke internally, and there's a lot of companies that use paperwork to fill time.
Of course.
They use paperwork for the budget.
Yeah.
They plan to have people just doing paperwork for months at a time. Not enough people, and there's too much work. And two, they don't have the people right now. I guess this is
Everyone.
hand in hand. They don't have the people right now to just have them sitting in the office doing paperwork. They've got too much field work to do, and we heard this from more than a few people. I think you've told me this, you know, about what you're doing, and
Yeah.
Richie, you're always busy.
Yeah,
I mean, there's
literally.
so much work right now and not enough people that they just need to get the field work done, get the report done, get the paperwork done as quick as possible, and get back out in the field.
And I feel like
You know?
that's good because it'll shake out the people who literally don't want to do field work. They just want to sit in the office and fill out paperwork, and it's like,
Yeah.
go away. That's
was-
my personal point of view.
With something like Wild Note, like the project we did last year, you know, there is still, it's not like there's zero paperwork to do. I don't think we'll ever get to that point, because you still have people in the field that are doing things, and
Yeah.
people in the office that need to make corrections and do things like that. It's not like you're completely eliminating paperwork by recording digitally in any platform, in any
Yeah.
time frame, even in 100 years when we're all, you know, sending robots out to do it. We're still going to check their work, right?
Yeah, but
So-
now you can just do it in the field, and now there's no intermediary step that wastes time and budget.
Right, and it's just, you know, but again, there's still an element of time. It's just not as long, because you skip the transcription part.
Yeah.
You're skipping that part, and you're going straight to the editing part, the QA QC part, where you're checking on things and adding stuff, adding references, you know, whatever you're going to do, correcting photos, you know,
Yeah.
color correction, stuff like that. All that has to be done still in the Word document or whatever you're going to do. All of your data, rather than, you know, I mean, back in the day, I don't know who still does this anymore, but back in the day, you'd, you know, write your stuff down on a paper form and then literally type it into a Word document, not
Yeah.
some intermediate step, but you literally type it into a Word document. And that's not data.
No.
It's not data you can do anything with,
No.
you know, as a spreadsheet, and then bring that into a database, bring it into a GIS super easily. And you can't do that with your handwritten data unless you're bringing that into a database first and then a Word document,
Yeah.
you know, but that's a lot of steps. So anyway, I'm encouraged just by the data aspect of things. We try to sell this because people need to save money. So we try to sell it as a time saver. But to me, as a scientist and an archaeologist, it's huge for the data to have your data be accessible in a queryable format.
Yeah.
You know?
Click on one at a time and just take a look, and like 2/3 of them were isolates, and I'm like, this is pointless. I mean, think about when you go to YouTube or Hulu or Netflix, like, you know, what's the first thing you do? You just type in, well, you know, other than looking at what they have on the front page, you just type in what you're looking for, and then it gets to you what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, and even if you don't have a sophisticated database or anything like that to dump all your data into, if you're using something like WildNote,
Yeah.
WildNote in particular has the ability to do search queries within the program. searching fields and searching different terms and stuff like that right within the programming data. You can query and say, have we found any obsidian yet? Let me just search obsidian across this project, and then see, what have we found, or have we? I'm really losing my mind over sanitary cans. Let me see if we found any of those.
Well, more importantly, you don't have to wait till the paperwork gets back to the office and look through it and be just like, oh, you missed a photo here, you missed a photo there, or you didn't fill this out, you didn't fill this out. You can bug people like in lifetime.
Exactly. So, not making this a Wild Note commercial, but those are the kinds of conversations I've been having for the last 48 hours, and it's really encouraging that people are not only looking at, well, they're being kind of forced to go this route, which is, I think, a good thing because of the people constraints and the time constraints these days, but also because they're starting to, because they're being forced to it, look at the benefits of it from a data management standpoint.
Because I've been around long enough that, like, in before Collector, when it was just like, TerraSync, I worked for a company that literally they sent the GIS person out in the field, like their office GIS person, and they were just there at the hotel and, getting the data. And then I was on another project a few years ago where, the company was super old-fashioned. We both know the company. And, they just had the PI from the office there, just down looking at the paperwork, like the actual physical paperwork, and making notes and then sending people back out. It was like their version of Live Time, to just have him, instead of being in Reno, he was there. And they had to rent an office, and they had to set it up, and it was just like a lot of money. A lot of money.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that didn't help like their bid cost.
Yeah, probably not.
At all, which is probably why that particular branch of that office is no longer around.
Indeed. So back to the conference. You were only there for about a day for Saturday. Did you see anything that changed your mind about California archaeology or made you think?
No, but the 3-minute, God, like I've sat through like a bunch of 3-minute paper sessions.
Lightning talks?
Yeah. And this was actually a lot better this year than some of those other ones.
Yeah.
Like, I've been to some terrible panels.
I like lightning talks because the last 3 minutes of any paper, which often get cut off because they ran out of time, is the only important bit anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Conclusion,
yeah. In conclusion, I'm sorry we're out of time. Next.
Yeah. Although I didn't really there was only one panel I wanted to see on Friday that I didn't get to see, which was the historic one.
Yeah.
Should I go to that one? I don't think I did.
Yeah.
No. I filled up my day with a lot of stuff. I have to say that there was rarely a time that they were behind on the things that I went to.
Really?
Yeah.
That's encouraging.
In fact, there was most of the sessions I went to, we were running slightly early, so we'd have like a few minute break between papers.
Well, and do you think a possible night, they had like a week, save money and once.
Yeah.
And they're selling them again. I don't think those people got refunds.
No, I didn't.
No.
I mean, I showed up.
You missed the silent auction.
Well, I went there anyway.
Yeah. Well,
I didn't need to show credentials, so.
Yeah, but you missed the first part when they were checking for tickets, probably. Yeah. So, either way, somebody probably bought your ticket, and then went. So.
I mean, not like it matters. Like the silent auction, normally it's a lot more fun. Like, normally it's not at the venue. Like, they bring you out someplace.
Yeah.
So I literally got there and started looking for the
slightly larger space than they often have it. Still being shoulder to shoulder with a bunch of drunk people with loose inhibitions didn't seem like a good plan to me. And I just don't like that kind of situation anyway.
Yeah.
Not a huge part I'd like to be in normally. And then I was like, considering a pandemic, I was like, I don't know. So, yeah. I should have donated something though.
Oh.
Should have donated like an APN membership or something.
Oh my God, you could have given away one of those super heavy screens you made.
Oh yeah. I don't even know if I have those anymore. Yeah,
well, I've got one.
Those like ridiculous 2x4 screens that I made.
Someone had a screen.
Yeah.
There's a screen up
there.
Yeah.
So, anyway, yeah. So that was our conference. I thought it was my first conference in over 2 years.
Oh yeah, same here.
It was my first conference.
Yeah. Your first conference ever.
Archaeology
conference. Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah.
So it was kind of a little bit of an experience.
Yeah. Did your well, feel free to say I don't want to answer this question, but did your company pay for you to come here?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's good, right? Companies should do that. Which is a lot of reasons why people go to conferences, because their company pays for them to go, right? And that's encouraging. But it makes me wonder about other conferences. Like, you're not going to SAAs at the end of this month, right?
No.
Do you know if anyone from your company is?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, that's good. So, anyway, so speaking of conferences,
Yeah.
for a California archaeologist, I feel like, obviously the SCAs is critical.
Yeah.
Go there because it's all your colleagues. And then the SAAs is like, you probably ought to send somebody out there to represent, the company and the area and hopefully present on something. But then, I don't know, for a third conference that is a maybe, would probably be the Great Basic Conference, but it really depends on,
Ooh, that's the fun
where
one.
you work. Yeah.
That's always the fun one.
Yeah. That's every 2 years. Did they have it this last fall?
Of course they did. It was
They
in
did?
Vegas.
Oh, that's right. It was in Vegas. So there won't
Yeah.
be one this year, but there'll
No.
be one in 2023.
Yeah.
And it's they usually swap north-south. So
Yeah.
Vegas, it'll probably be up north in either like Reno, Utah, or
Ooh.
somewhere else.
Ooh, my God.
So-
The last time, were you at the one in Reno last
Yeah.
time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my
Well,
God.
I was there 5-6 years ago when I was in Reno. I don't know if that was the last time.
Heather
Yeah, it
says
was.
she can hear us fine, by the way.
Heather does?
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
Yay.
So-
Great. Oh, there's Heather. Yeah, I see it now.
That was the one where everyone bailed on the banquet, and we all.
So, well, anyway, your sister's encouraging this.
No, she's like, this girl you're gonna be stuck with some old guy. She doesn't believe it yet.
Listen, if some older gentleman wants to take me under his wing and
See?
fund all my pursuits,
Yeah.
I'll be a trophy husband.
See,
I'm just saying.
that could happen at the state.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, my God, like my sister was also equally appalled. We saw a Lamborghini SUV, but we also saw a Bentley SUV, which I didn't know
Nice.
existed. And it was
Make
just like
anything
this.
you want.
Yeah. It was just like the sort of family you'd imagine. It was just like, a very nicely turned out mother and her little children just all sitting in the back seat. It's like,
Yeah.
wow, my God.
We got a comment from
Oh, we do?
Wouter Yipperman. I hope I'm saying that right again, Wouter. He was on the recent Sierra Mark podcast.
I listen. I
Yeah.
know.
He does archaeology in Belgium.
Oh, yeah.
And he says he goes to the CAA bi-yearly without Corona. He pays for it because he wants to go, but he doesn't have to take leave or anything. It's a tech-heavy conference. It's the
Neat.
what is it? Computer. Water. What does it stand for again? It's something like computer something in archaeology, computer applications in archaeology. It's a very tech-heavy conference
Yeah.
that I've always wanted to go to. It's always in Europe too, from what I understand. But yeah, he'll probably tell me what it stands for again because I simply can't remember. But yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, and yeah, he's also laughing at my.
Yes.
Also,
Yeah.
I don't know how many people are watching us since this is malfunctioning. So, but I assume there are more people than 0.
Yeah, I got
It
5
says
on the
5,
Facebook page.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not terrible.
Because normally
So-
it tells me how many is watching everywhere. So.
Yeah. So, anyway, computer application in quantum blah blah in archaeology. Yes, understood.
Oh,
Yeah.
one thing we should talk about, because, obviously, they can't see it at home, but obviously I'm using my M1 MacBook. And you also have the iPad Pro that uses the same chip.
Yeah,
What do you think of it?
it's amazing. Sitting at the booth at the conference the last couple days, I wasn't doing anything too heavy because the internet was actually pretty bad. But my computer stayed open the whole time because I was always going back and doing little things here and there. But I dropped in like 8 hours. I dropped like 30% on my battery,
Yeah.
which was phenomenal.
So you moving over to the dark side?
Well, I've got both.
Okay.
But, and
But
we've
he knows what works well in certain situations.
Right.
Yeah. You don't see the PC sitting over here.
Yeah, like we've been live for like 40 minutes. Actually, probably 40 minutes plus. And this has only dropped like 10%.
Yeah, and it was fully charged.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not too bad for constant bandwidth
And we're
transmission.
and we're streaming.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's not too bad at all.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting.
um,
Anything
yeah,
else we
I
can
like
think
it.
of?
What's that?
Anything else we can think of?
I was gonna say
At the book room?
it's in Portugal.
What?
Cool.
Every once in a while, they go to Portugal. Every once in a while, they go to Canada, right? But Canada's a little easier
I mean,
to sell.
that makes sense though.
Yeah.
We're in North America.
I
Right?
don't know why they go to Portugal, but it was going to be in Lisbon either last year or the year before. One of the ones that got canceled, and so they got it rescheduled, and now they're going to Lisbon, and it's always in January too.
Yeah.
So I would think that just like an amazing time, especially Portugal, pretty much constantly.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
Did you hear them?
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't hear them. I mean, if we're just sitting there in the evening watching TV, we didn't really hear them. But during the day, it was just like all the time, just go by all the time. So,
Oh,
but I'd stay there again.
Was it better than Blythe? Or no, was it better than Quartzite?
Well, Quartzite was just different because I don't know if it was better. Quartzsite had a lot more people, but there was like less traffic, if that makes any sense. We weren't on like an access road. We were just on dispersed BLM land, you know. So I don't know. Quartzsite, we had. I don't think I talked to a single human other than Rachel and somebody on Zoom the whole week, right? Whereas in Quartzsite, we had friends there, and you know, we could see people, but. It was not. It was just like washboard the whole way. Just hearing your dishes and everything in the back fall down on my face, or you know something is just going to tear apart and come loose. And I'm sure, being in that situation, getting in there and back, and then you know bumpy roads and all that stuff. That I mean, there is stuff in there that's just ready to fall apart. That's just RV life. You know, at some point it will. Like last fall when our microwave crashed out of the ceiling and face planted onto the counter. That was fun.
Wow.
Oh, did anything break?
Huh?
Like
surprisingly,
break?
no. The microwave, it's an RV microwave that we bought specifically for this.
Yeah.
So it's designed to withstand a crash, but not even the glass plate inside broke. And it hit right down on the counter. The only thing is we've got two covers over our stove that are basically the same material as the counter. But since they're separate, one of them it's kind of bent in a little bit, so now it's not totally flush with the counter, but you don't even notice it. Like I actually forgot about it until I was just saying it now. But
I only transitioned to, since it sounds like the lawnmower's getting closer.
It is closer. We should probably end this soon. Yeah. But I think depending on your schedule, I'm going to be. If anybody is listening to this in San Luis Obispo, California, we'll be in SLO for the next 3 weeks till the end of March.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, and then we're going to be in Reno for the last week, first part of April. But then we're headed to the Pacific Northwest after that. So we might be able to do a live stream if you're up in Reno about that time.
Neat.
Or if you can make it to SLO.
Yeah.
So, but that's where we'll be.
Cool.
So, and if you happen to be out on some random construction site in central, southern, or northern California, you might see Amy or Richie.
Yeah.
So there you go. Well, how was your first in-person live stream experience? Was it as glamorous as you thought it would be?
Well, I mean, I've been on TV before, so.
Oh, yeah?
So it's like doesn't even compare. Yeah, you're just too much of a
not live
celebrity.
though, right?
Yeah.
So,
Is it live when there's only like 5 people watching? We do have an international audience thanks to Flutter though.
that's true.
Yeah.
Yes, it is live.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't edit, right?
No.
No, at all.
So, what you say is on the internet right now. It's like talking to people. So,
Hey,
you know,
crazy.
as long as I know how to have a conversation,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
It's obviously people at home won't know what I'm talking about, but I was looking. The prices of video switchers are coming so far down that I'm actually seriously about to buy one so we can do like a multi-camera live stream.
Oh my, that won't be complicated at all. We can't even figure our audio out.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
well, thankfully
Yeah.
we can plug everything into that little
There you go.
thing box, and
There
then
you go.
we'll have someone monitoring comments, hopefully.
Nice. Well, as the lawnmower practically mows in front of us.
It's literally getting closer.
Literally right there. Yeah, I can see him. I want to mention real quick, if you new bi-weekly APN live variety show, I'm calling it like the Archaeology show, the Archaeology variety show, because it's basically our archaeology show, because it's the two of us, but live. But we're not doing news items. We are doing that a little bit, but then a whole bunch of other stuff. We'll have a guest, and we've got a bunch of things planned. So tune into that. It's every 2 weeks. Check out the show live events. It's posted up there because you have to actually register for this on the platform that we're using to be able to get the invite for it.
Oh, what platform is it?
No, I was pointing at you.
Oh yes,
What platform is
it's
it?
called Crowdcast.
Oh,
It's the same thing we used for a conference we did like 2 years ago. Yeah, so we got that, and then the Life in Ruins podcast is doing their 100th episode live with an archaeologist who's in the Ukraine right now, living in Ukraine and stuff like that, and that's at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time on March 12th. That's a Saturday, and that's their 100th episode. If you missed that, the audio from that will be played on their 100th episode feed. You know,
oh, it's
at
kind of like
the
the
time.
Dirt did that live thing yesterday.
Yeah. They're
Oh,
doing live
did they?
stuff all the time. Yesterday?
Yeah, the 5th, they had like a workshop that they were recording.
Oh, that's
and
right.
live
That's right. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, anyway, and we're planning a bunch more live events. I'm hoping to bring a lot more podcasts into a live podcast, and then Rachel and I are hopefully going to do this show every 2 weeks as time permits.
Yeah.
So,
And hopefully we'll be live again at some point, minus the lawnmowers.
yes. Well, with our consistent internet,
And Brandon saved me.
Well, we're back in Reno.
wait, with our so we'll talk about that as whenever this happens again,
Yeah.
and then go become an APN member.
Oh, hang on. All right. No one say anything. We're still live. Hang on. Destinations. There we go.
Nice.
Cool.
Fucking lawnmower, seriously.